I'm doing it. I am going to be open today in this video. So if you do not want to know about my sex life, this is not the video for you to watch. Just making sure I'm on my page and not my personal profile. I often think about coaches who help people with their finances. Maybe that's not such a great idea. Okay. Coaches that help people with their home organization or parenting or, interior decorating, accountants. Like these people get a show step by step behind the scenes, like business coaches. They get to show all the things to all the people. And I can't do that. I can't bring you into my bedroom and be like, and this is how you do it, ladies. Not that I'm saying I feel like I should or I want to be able to do that because that is just not something I'm interested in. I'm not that kind of sex coach, but it's too bad. It's too bad because where else are we going to find examples of having a healthy sex life? Not from TV, not from random anecdotes that our friends say, like, we got drunk and had a great time. What are you going to learn from that? So, within my program, the Wanting It More program, I am really open because I have my husband's full permission to be open about my sex life and what that looks like and the details. Oh, yes, those ladies know the details of my sex life because I think it's helpful. I would have loved for somebody to be like, and this is what I did, and this is how I touched the thing, and these are the thoughts I was thinking, and all of that. Chrissy, I'm so glad you want to learn more about this topic. That's awesome. I want to learn more about this topic. I am going to want to learn more about this topic for the rest of my life. So, what does my sex life look like? That is the question. And you see, I'm stalling. I'm stalling. My sex life is scheduled. We have sex about once a week, I would say, on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. It used to be Saturday morning for a very, very long time, but now we're switched to Sunday because I now have jazzercise on Saturday mornings, and my husband was fine with us switching. So the reason why it's scheduled is because I have something called responsive desire, which is actually the kind of desire that most of the women I have served. Awesome, Chrissy. Yes, you are in totally the right place right now. If you're watching this recording, I'm doing this as a Facebook Live and I'm responding to someone who's commenting. So, responsive desire, the desire that I have, just simply means that my interest, my curiosity, my arousal, my enjoyment is cultivated. So it doesn't usually happen before I'm in the situation to have sex. So what I mean is I am never really in the mood. I decide that, weekend mornings are a good time for me because I have the most energy and I'm the most relaxed. We set things up with the kids that they know that that's our time and our door is locked. And I usually like to give myself at least 2 hours. So if you're thinking that 2 hours is exhausting, just hold on a second. We're taught that sex is supposed to be steamy and sweaty and taking a lot of work. Watch any sex scene on TV and people are exhausted. They're like rolling over at the end of it and they're huffing and puffing and their sheets are drenched in sweat and there's all of that going on. that's not really what my life looks like. So I like to have a lot of time because what I include in the sexual experience is connecting, is talking. My favorite questions are, what's going well for you? I asked my husband that. He asked me that. Um, I like to ask for a lot of reassurance in the beginning. So we all have kind of these default interpretations we'll make throughout the day, the week, um, and then if you flip those default interpretations or those insecurities and make them into a question, they're quite magical. So one of my insecurities is that I'm not successful or I'll never be successful. It probably stems from getting married at 17 and just being like a little baby when I started my adult life. Um, so the thing I ask my husband a lot is, are you proud of me? Do you see my hard work? Do you think I'm successful? And I love, they're kind of better than I love you. So we do a lot of that in the beginning, a lot of reconnecting depending on how busy our week has been. And, then there's the showering and the brushing teeth. And if I have low blood sugar, sex is not good. So sometimes I'll need to get some food beforehand. And so I'm not getting irritated with myself or hangry. You know what I'm talking about if this is your situation. So then I like to get naked, and this has evolved. So in the early days when I was just learning how to enjoy sex and I was coming out of a lot of anxiety when it came to intimacy, a lot of these things looked different. I needed to be clothed. I needed a lot more talking, a lot more reassurance. I needed to break a lot of the times and just evaluate my thoughts and get my mind in the right mindset, remind myself that sex is good for me. This isn't something that I have to provide for my husband, all of, that I can trust my intuition, that I can create clear boundaries, that I can ask not to be touched a certain way. Like, anything I want or need, I can have. This was for my own comfort, all of those things that I needed to say to myself. And sometimes I still do. I need to remind myself that sex is good for me and I get whatever I need to feel safe and comfortable. And my husband is my comfort, is really important to my husband, and all of those things. So then I won't go into all the details of what we do. I'm gonna reserve that for if you join the Wanting It More program, because then it's a more intimate, safe community, and we just are open that way in the community. So if you're interested, I definitely check that out. Leave a link below, or come to my live class that I'm giving next week. I'll put the link there as well. And you can ask me. You can be like, Jenna, I watched that video. Now I want all the details. And I'll be like, all right, time to share all the things. But usually it involves like sometimes, it's not prescriptive. And that's what I've learned so much these last years, is that I need different things at different times. If I'm on my period, then our sex is going to look different. I probably will be touching him for my pleasure, something I teach women how to do. I probably will be clothed. I don't like being touched a lot when my nerves are more sensitive then. Sometimes I have an orgasm, sometimes I don't. Sometimes penetration is involved, sometimes it's not. Um, a lot of times I sound different each time. I find vocalizations to be really pleasurable, depending if the kids are in the house or not and what that looks like, but not in like the wild way, more of like, I'm curious, what would this sound in my body feel like? And so it's very different each time, and it's led by me. That way I feel very safe and we just have more sex and it's more enjoyable for everybody. I don't like to follow any sort of guidelines. Like, I used to think, okay, if I could just teach my husband a technique, or if I could just find the right position, or if I could just figure out how to just have a vaginal orgasm without clitoral stimulation, then everything would be good. But what I've learned and what I teach is that that actually has nothing to do with good sex. Good sex is about following your intuition and trusting yourself. And that takes time. A lot of women will tell me, well, I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want, because you've been told what you should want and like your whole life. And even if nobody ever sat you down and said, hey, this is what you should like or want, you've been told it through cultural conditioning, through media, sitcoms, everything. It's crazy how prescriptive it is. So sometimes the more traditional sexual acts are involved, like oral sex or manual stimulation. God, all these words. They seem weird coming out of my mouth because they have been hijacked from a really messed up culture. So I just try to reclaim every single sexual experience. I reclaim the my senses. I reclaim what sex is really about. It's not about goals. It's not about even providing needs for each other. It's just a time to shut the world out for a little bit, um, to just have a little bit of enjoyment and joy and some connection. I don't necessarily feel a lot of connection through the sexual acts themselves. My husband does. But for me, it's more the intimacy, the more like I'm naked with you and you see all of the nakedness and nobody else sees that. And then also a lot of talking, a lot of asking questions, asking reassurance, all those things that I shared in the beginning, asking the questions, are you proud of me? Am I successful? Do you love being on a team with me? Do you value my contribution as a teammate? Those aren't typical like sexy phrases that you think would happen. So I just bring a lot of who I am as a woman, as a human being into the sexual experience. I don't become anything else. I'm literally just like Janna, but with my husband naked and enjoying. I mean, I enjoy all my senses. I can enjoy all my senses throughout the day, so I can still just enjoy all my senses within the bedroom. There isn't any sort of like line in the sand. So, one might describe my sex life as kind of boring, but I think it's delightful and anything but boring, because when I follow my own pleasure and my own intuition and what my body is saying, then it's different every time. And it's not, I keep on saying this, but it's not prescriptive. And in that way, my husband and I have experiences together that you would never find in a book, because they're unique to us, they're unique to me and what I like and what I enjoy. So it's scheduled. It's about 2 hours. It involves a lot of talking. Sometimes there are orgasms, sometimes there are not. We don't see ourselves as responsible for each other's orgasms, which takes a lot of pressure off. We just see it as an opportunity to enjoy some time together, some really precious and special time together. So I think that's, unless anyone watching has any questions, I'm an open book. I'm happy to answer them. But if you'd like to learn more about how I went from feeling so anxious, even thinking about having sex with my husband, how I went from feeling so much pressure and guilt and resentment. Like, I'm not a sex coach who just loves sex, loved it all the time, thinks about sex all the time. I'm not. And I believe firmly that that's why I can help women like myself, because I get it. I get it. And I'm still in the process of this. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I'm always becoming more confident in who I am and how my body works and what I want out of the sexual experience, rather than what's been told to me I should want or I should experience there. So if you want to learn like literally what I did, because I couldn't find I couldn't find the right help anywhere. That's why I do what I do right now. Come to my class next week. It's called The Real Reason for a Lack of Desire and the 6-Step Solution to Reconnecting Again. We have so much fun in these classes. They're live, and I think it's just cool. I think for a lot of women, it's the first time they've been in a group where other women are saying how they've been feeling for a very, very long time. And it feels so validating. It makes you feel so normal. It's just such a delight, honestly. It's just my favorite. I love doing live classes. I love running the Wanting It More program because it's all live and we do group calls, and you'll learn more about the program if you come to the class. And it's just it's my life's work. It's my life's work. And the reason why I wanted to be open about what my sex life looks like is because I want to show you that on the other side isn't something that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's not something that's going to take you out of being who you are right now. It's not something that you're going to have to pretend through or perform through. It's actually quite the opposite. Finally, you just get to say what you like and what you don't like. And if what you like right now is really narrow, if it's like this, you're like, I like hugging my husband, or like, I like listening to his heartbeat, or I like holding his hand. That's where you start. You just start there. Because what's so beautiful is when you have permission just to be who you are and not have to pretend or perform in the sexual experience or not be somebody that you aren't. Suddenly, maybe not so suddenly, but over time, you start to notice and develop sensations and desires within yourself that were buried and just were kind of, all those shoulds and all of those expectations and all of that pressure was just burying all of it. So it's just such an honor, and I could talk about this forever, and which is why I make these videos and I talk about it forever, and I will talk about it forever. Forever, forever, ever. So come to the class and ask questions, and in that way I can answer the right ones and not just make them up in my head. And so I hope that helped you. I hope that helped you feel relief. Okay, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.